Yeah, mate, we got hards on. We're going to the end.
Oh, let's just ban him. Why can't we? After you win the championship, just ban that driver from the rest of the races. Um, we're getting straight into things. Austin Grand Prix, as I probably used to call it on Mario. It's EP2. We're back. I said I would be for the Grand Prix this weekend. I didn't catch qualifying. I was a bit caught out by it being in the evening and stuff. I just didn't quite catch it. Sainz got pole, and we'll start there. Actually, we'll start. I was gonna technically, if we were starting off from the beginning of the weekend, we'd be starting off with what's it like Q1. Now, I've massively gotten into Formula One. I have, and I've woken up at some, and within a fairly quick space of time, woken up at some early extraordinary hours, for some races, and I'm not a morning person. I'm not. I avoid mornings ever since sort of school days. Ever since then, I've only picked jobs where I can specifically work after 12. I mainly work night shifts, just to avoid having to get up early. So I hate them. But I've woken up, like 5 or 6 or whatever. And by the way, 9 times out of 10, I think I've done this. You wake up 5, 6, red flag, race delayed because of rain. I feel like the Monza one maybe was like that. You had to wake up early for it. Maybe Spa was like that. Races where you wake up early. It's like my eyes are red raw. I'm lying in bed just trying to watch the thing. And then they're like, race delayed for another 40 minutes. Oh, rain's still going. Race delayed for another 20 minutes. Looks like we're only going to get 15 laps of racing here, but that's good enough. And it's just like, what's his name? Crofty? Is that his name? Crofty? That don't sound right. I'm just going to go with it. Crofty. Is just yamming it. And like, I don't mind the commentary when it's like stuff's happening and it's just races. I don't mind it. There's decent little partnership going on there. Quite informative, while also, they speak as if everyone's a learner, and I don't know that much, so it's useful in that. And he's good in the moment. Sometimes he fumbles over his lines, he gets the cars wrong and stuff, but he's decent. But when they get into red flags and stuff, or rain periods, and they're just doing basically like improv, like just basically doing stand up commentary. Like none of it's about racing anymore because they're just trying to fill up like 2 hours of just random stuff they haven't had prepared, and they're just doing stand up. They're just watching what's going on, doing like a live like race commentary, and it kills me. It kills me, and that's a large reason. Obviously, if you're a big Formula One fan, you're watching Q1, Q2, Q3, and I've never watched Q1, Q2, Q3 or anything like that because why? No, sorry, no. This whole time I've been calling it Q1, Q2. I mean P1, practice one, practice two, all the practices. That would be like watching. Like sometimes they broadcast live training, like at football games, so you can watch the team train live, like watch them stretch, and then run lengths or something. Why would I watch that? I mean, I like the sport, and I like football a lot more than Formula One. But I don't need to watch, Kante do a couple of these, and a couple of them. Yeah, I was doing some stretches. I just, and I don't need to see the drivers basically just practice around a track they probably drove on hundreds of times in terms of laps, for nothing, and it also usually means nothing. Like I've seen Latifi top practice 1 or 2 or 3, and then finish dead last in the race. No, sir, I will not be watching practices. So I'll skip all that. Qualifying I missed. All I know, Sainz got pole, but here's the qualifying this year has been such a non-factor. At the beginning, it kind of meant something, and it quickly just turned into either Verstappen gets pole and then wins, Leclerc gets pole and Verstappen wins, or somebody else jumps in and gets pole, and obviously they don't win because they're not in a winning car that they can do it with. And it's like, I really like Sainz. He's good mentally. Like Leclerc's a bit more of the whipping boy in the Ferrari team. Like he'll just listen to whatever the Ferrari guys say. They'll be like, "Yo, Leclerc, come in. We wanna change your tires, from soft compounds to bicycle tires." And then he'll be like, what? Did you just say bicycle tires? Yeah. Tires, bicycle tires. What do you mean bicycle tires? Like tires for a bicycle. And he'll be like, that doesn't seem like a good idea. I don't know how well sort of thin sort of road, you just sort of push bike tires are going to work on a Formula One car. And they'll be like, we think you should. He'll then come in and do it, and then he'll go out, realize of course these aren't going to work. I'm exaggerating now, but then be like, oh fuck guys, and then he'll get angry afterwards. Whereas Science will just be like, yo, Science, come in for bicycle tires. What do you mean bicycle? Are you guys idiots? No, I'm staying on hards. I'm going to win this on hards. And he'll go off and actually prove him wrong. So I like him in that regard, but he went off. Another classic example of the pole sitter when it's not Verstappen just not showing out, and especially when it's a Ferrari. So that, I didn't really want Sainz to win anyway, and actually this race turned out to be a bloody good race. Apart from the fact, did we just go straight into it? Was there anything else? Albon, shout out Albon, you're going to I always forget which way around it is. Q3 is the third one, or is Q1? Yeah, it goes up numberly. Albon got to Q3. Well done. You won a medal. Latifi probably didn't even get out of P20. Yeah, we'll just go straight into the race because I think it was actually a really good race. I think it was decent, mate. I wanted Hamilton to win it. He was so close. Finally, Red Bull makes a mistake in terms of like pit stops, and like he was sitting there for like 10 seconds. I'm just like praying I'm just praying the car never gets started again. He gets back out there. Leclerc's defending well. If he could have done it for a few laps longer, maybe Hamilton would have had a chance, but the tyres just went off towards the end and he just couldn't do it. And they said it on comms, Red Bull, quicker car, better in the straights, got DRS on the better tyres. Literally nothing going for Hamilton. It was a shame. Hamilton could have got his first win. And that's what I mean about like, I was saying it with jest, but I also kind of mean at the beginning when I was like, once you win the championship, why are you even still here? I get what's a stat pad and get more records. But it's just like, you're just dead in it. Like, I don't want to, I guess if any driver wins after that point and the best driver's not on the grid, then it kind of takes away from your win a bit because it's like you didn't beat the best to get it. But it's just like, you got like 3 races left or whatever. And I get it. Red Bull are the Constructors' Championships. Verstappen is the Driver Championships. Do I have to now see Red Bull and Verstappen continue to win? It means nothing. I want storylines here. Hamilton getting the first win of the season. That's a little storyline. It's something for me to live off and, I can consume that. Because ultimately, 3 races time, this season's done. And I don't know how long the next one is. And I just got to live with, one less sport in my life. And no one wants that. I want to see, I said this before, I want to see Hamilton win. I want to see Norris get a win. It's not going to happen with this car, but you never know. Like, crazier things have happened, in Gasly. I always think about that. Was it Monza or was it... It wasn't Monza. Wait, what is Monza? No, Monza is here. What's the one in Monaco? Oh, it's just called Monaco, isn't it? Yeah, sometimes you just say stuff. They're literally just named after places, aren't they? Well, for the most part, they are. Anyway, it's not. Is it Imola or Monza? The one where Gasly wins, Sainz comes second. I think Stroll came third. Great things can happen sometimes. Not a lot of times this season. Maybe I got really lucky with the time I jumped into the sport, but it seemed like you'd get at least a good few amount of those moments throughout the seasons. And I don't like Ocon, but he's another example of that. Ocon just coming out of nowhere, grabs a win. Ricardo got a win in the McLaren. I think he finished last today pretty much out of the cars he finished. So that just looks even more crazy. Stroll. Has Stroll won? I know he got that pole in the wet. Has he won? I think he has won, which is crazy. Is there anyone else? Was there anyone else? Yeah. There's, I just wanted something like that. I want, like, if we go through the end of the races and Verstappen just wins them all, and we get a little bit of like drama here and there, I just don't want it. I just don't care, man. I just want the most insane things to happen from here to the end of season. What is the next race? I'm not sure. after this, we just had Austin. What could be left? I'm just gonna make a scientific mathematical guess based off of the countries that we haven't raced in yet. Have we done Bahrain yet? Because I usually like to end it on one of those types of places like Bahrain or like Saudi Arabia. So I'm gonna say maybe one of those places is next. Because I think we're gonna leave this side of the country. Well, sorry, the side of the planet Earth. Could it? Yeah, we've done Silverstone. We've done all the Americas, I believe. Or was there not a third America? But surely we've done them all already now. I feel like there was a third one. I can't remember if we've done it or if we just haven't. Have we done China this year? Oh, we're not doing China. We've done Australia, right? God. It has been a long season, I guess. Because I really can't even remember how the first half of it. Think about how long ago it was when Red Bull were having all the mechanical issues and Leclerc was leading by 20 and people were saying, can Verstappen catch him? And he caught him within like 2 races. But Red Bull had this whole mechanical stuff. We thought that was going to be an issue that went across the length of the season. Didn't turn out that way really at all. The McLarens were at the very back. The Mercedes was dreadful. It's been a long way, and to be honest, I like Norris and Ricciardo, and that, so therefore I like McLaren and that. Don't say and that in 2 sentences in a row. I did not like that. So I don't like seeing them at the very back. But ultimately, I think if things stayed exactly how they were and the cars didn't change at all, we had a way more interesting season, way closer. I wouldn't have liked seeing them say Hamilton at the back, all that, but I don't know. At least it would have been more interesting with Leclerc, and I just really thought Leclerc was going to push him towards maybe I'm just spoiled because in my second season watching Formula 1, or my third maybe, or my second and a half, or whatever it was, I witnessed a race go down to the final day where they went into that race on the exact same points, which is mad because they was both on half points as well. So it was they was on both on 367.5 or something, which is just crazy how that can happen just by chance. I think it's happened a few times over recent even history, which is just mental. But no, wasn't to be. An absolute flat out win. Yeah, I mean, it was a great race though. We had a crash in there, and look, I don't know if it's problematic to say this, but as long as they're all safe and everyone's fine, I'm sure you can say this is Formula 1. You're allowed to say this, right? Who doesn't love a good crash? To me, a crash is a staple of a great race. I think if I had to build what I would describe as a great Formula 1 race, I would say you want a winner who hasn't won, so a winner who isn't one of the 2 favourites at least. I'm not asking for a complete crazy person to win, but someone who isn't one of the 2 favourites for the overall championship. So they haven't been winning most of the races. It's a bit of a shock in terms of the win. I think you want to crash. 100% you need to crash. I actually don't think rain. I used to think rain was a really cool factor to be in there, but rain just makes things boring, uninteresting. The crashes aren't huge. They're more just sliding off and spinning. So just a bunch of little yellow flags and a bunch of red flag in the race because it's too much and it's just long and annoying. I hate it. Drivers complaining all the time. Complaining about aquaplaning, complaining. I don't know what I'm trying to say. So yeah, I think you want to crash. Do you want a red flag? I think you do. I think within a great race, a great race you want a few crashes. You want a crash, maybe a small one, enough to bring out a safety car. Because with a safety car you get the interesting feature where all the cars bunch up and then you can get the little restart and it's how good your timing. I feel you want a red flag because also I feel didn't that created the moment with Hamilton where he was the only one starting on the grid and everyone pitted. So there you go, that's a great moment. A red flag because then it's you get another start to the race. Today I missed the start of the race again. I this whole evening thing is weird to me because usually it's midday or morning, but it was an evening thing today, so I missed the start of the race. It's if you get a red flag, it's you get another start of the race. It's great. And it's if your driver who you're backing did well in the first start, you're do it again. And if they did bad in the first start, you're another chance. So definitely, I feel a red flag. You want a red flag that doesn't last too long. That you want ideally half an hour. However short a red flag can be, you want it in the shortest possible time. they can all work on the cars and stuff, and like things can change, and like people can massively gain and massively lose out, and it can be unfair and stuff. And obviously I hate it if like a driver I don't particularly like massively gains, and I just think, you lucky. Like if it's Russell, I'm like, you arrogant lucky little Mr. But if it's Hamilton, I'm like, yes. Or Lando, or Albon, or Ricardo, or yeah. Lando had a great end. The end was actually pretty good, apart from the winners, obviously. Winner. Some great driving today. Leclerc, shout out. Nifty little overtake on Perez. Perez complaining like the little man he is. Yeah, let's just not say anything bad. I'm not a massive Perez fan. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. I said that once before, and I received almost like physical harm. So people really like Perez, or not people in general, but the people who do like Perez die for him, ride and die for him. So he's got small fan base, but the fan base he has got wily. Where was he saying with this? The end of it, yeah. So we had Leclerc, great overtakes. Norris was really struggling at points. He was dropping back at points, getting overtaken at points, got damage at points. But then for some reason, the last 10 laps, he thought, you know what, fuck it, let's just put off some overtakes. So he looked pretty strong. And then Vettel. Never have I really cared for Vettel because I've never witnessed him be great. I've just kind of witnessed him towards the end of Ferrari, kind of just being, being dominated by Leclerc, basically. Then go to, was it straight to Aston Martin from there? Yeah. Then be at Aston Martin where the car's has been meh. Like, it's only ever been good when it's the pink Mercedes, really. Like, as in good. And it's kind of just been trash, and he's just kind of been failing to get out of Q1 and stuff. So, like, with, like, his fourth to last race to go or whatever, this was the first time I ever felt something for Vettel, and I thought, no, don't go Vettel. This was great. More of this. Oh, you're done? It's a shame. Yeah, we had a little crash there with Alonso. I think I know what my favourite thing as well. So I want to add, so far we have maybe a cheeky little safety car to bunch up the pack, red flag, which spawns a spontaneous, unpredictable winner. I think in terms of overtakes, I think I want at least a few switcheroos. I love a switcheroo. I love the name, switcheroo. It's so good. I don't know if that's officially the name, but they always say the cheeky he does the switcheroo. It feels so good. Like someone just coming in rash and then just outsmart it to like go in less hard to then get them on the outside. Love a switcheroo. Overtakes that happen and fights that happen over like 4 or 5 corners. Because ultimately, even if you do get in with the switcheroo, I want the switcheroo to lead into something. Because no matter how late you are in the brakes, no matter how good an overtake is, if it's just one corner, how good is it really? I don't really care. I love it when, key example, I know it ended with a crash, but Silverstone. I don't know what team I'm on yet, if I fall into the Silverstone camp or the Silverstone camp. Silverstone. I naturally went to say Silverstone there, but I feel like Silverstone is like the muggy way to say it, like that's how you out yourself as not being a diehard, which I'm not, but I don't want people to know that straight away. I want to be the one who reveals that. I don't want them to just pick it up off me and I sort of like, you know, when someone comes out and then the parents are like, we know, you know, I want to be like, by the way, I just go into Formula One through DTS, and they're like, oh really? You know what I mean? Yeah, that it's like they're racing hard, they're going through corners, like one's in front of the other. And I feel like Hamilton and Verstappen have a lot of examples of that happening, where they have fights through corners because none of them want to give it up and they'll basically try anything. It even kind of had a bit of that today where on the one where Verstappen eventually overtook Hamilton. But yeah, I think those are the key things you need to make a great race. I'm trying to think, is there anything else I want, like a key thing? Like I want it to be dry, no rain. I think ideally a 2-stop race as well. You want the more chance of mistakes through pit stops, the more fun a race can be. So I think you want a 2-stopper, and it leaves room for strategy. Like if you're going to go long or undercut, or go for a 1-stop or a 2, or you want to go for like a finish strong, start strong, all this other stuff. So that's good. Anything else? Anything else? What makes the perfect race? Oh, obviously just like no walls, like not a street circuit. I mean, Baku's a street circuit and everyone loves Baku and it always produces great races. But ultimately, I want people to be able to run off track sometimes and it not to be like straight into a wall. Because sometimes crashes can be irritating. Like when Latifi was doing it on like, was it Singapore or something? It just got kind of irritating. It's like, and Schumacher, I think this is last season, they're just crashing into it. It's like, you just keep doing it here and it's so stop-starty. Like you don't want... This is what I said about like the rain. It's just a bunch of little spin outs that slow things down. Whereas I just want 2 crashes. I want one huge one, all drama. But the drivers are okay. They're just winded, Max. Not Max, he's winded. I'm not putting that on. I'm not like wishing that upon him. I'm saying maximum. That's the only harm they have. I'm not asking for the cars to go flipping in the air. I'm not asking for explosions, Grosjean style, and people just be. I'm just asking for a little crashy washy doodah. Just because it creates. But I mean, I'm acting like I need to explain myself. I think like most people enjoy a crash in a race. It's not crazy to say. But yeah, with the last 3 races to go, I'm not sure what they are. I probably should have checked. Just a combination of those things I just mentioned would be appreciated. I'd like that. And this race had a lot of that. Just didn't have who I wanted ultimately to win. I would love it if Verstappen doesn't get on a podium for the final 3 races. That would be beautiful. That will not happen. He'll probably win every single one. I can't even really see it. When was the last time he didn't win one, firstly? Like it's been years. But I actually can't remember. It might have been actually like 2 races ago. Maybe it's a me problem. Maybe my memory's just going. But I'm struggling to see a world unless there's a mechanical issue. I guess Perez could be the one who wins instead of him. That doesn't count. I don't want any Red Bull to win. But I can't even see a world where for the rest of this season Verstappen doesn't win, because why wouldn't he? Damn, I really hope the cars change a lot for next season. In terms of, I just want either the Red Bull to get worse or the Ferrari and the Mercedes to get better. Or, you know what would be perfect? The McLaren. So, what would be perfect for me? Red Bull gets worse. McLaren and... If we're being slightly realistic, you would say McLaren and like Alpine just get a lot better, and then you got like 5 cars that can all challenge. Obviously, that's a dreamland, but that's at least kind of realistic. What would be completely unrealistic is what I was thinking is like Williams just becomes the best, which would never happen, or has happened but won't happen just next season, because it'd just be interesting to see all of a sudden it's Nick De Vries, right? Nick De Vries and Albon in championship winning cars, that if they would actually be able to just all of a sudden, without them even thinking it was in around a possibility, just chucked in the deep end. Because I know drivers have went straight into championship winning cars and they've done well, but they know what they're getting into. Whereas if you just get into a Williams, you think, I'm going to be driving a Rosberg this year, and all of a sudden you got a winner on your hands. It's like, would they just challenge? Would they just be like, okay, adapt or perish, or what? Hypotheticals, pointless, aren't they? Anyway, anywho, what's this called? Oh yeah, I did think of a name. I was gonna say, I can't do a name. I'm just gonna leave it unnamed. I'm not good with names. And then I pulled out one of the best goddamn names I think on planet Earth. Maybe even in Galaxy Milky Way. Maybe I can't go any bigger than that. That's all I know. But that's still pretty large scaling. Hards on. Could have called it just hard on, because that's just a bit more. But no, hards on. And no, get your head. It's nothing filth. It's nothing like that. That's purely just coincidence that I realized after the branding. Okay, I just called it hards on because hard tires are my personal favorite tires. But no, there's nothing weird there with it sounding like it's literally just because it's Formula 1 and hard tyres. And we're going to the end. Boys. Anyway, That's all. That's all you're getting from me. Is there a race next week or the week after? Did we have one last week? I can't remember. I don't know if we had one last week. If we didn't have one last week, there's a good chance there's one next week. Hopefully there's one next week. Let's just bang it out. Let's just do 3 in a row. Come on. Let's stop the Pavlava. You can see your kids later. You earn great money. See them and, you'll get time off. Let's bang it out. I'm getting a bit loopy. That's all. Hard tires for life. That's not cool. I don't want that to be my thing. I was like, would that be my thing? I say, no, thank you. Yeah, though. Yeah, that's it.